What's up, everybody? How's it going? Hopefully, all of the audio is coming in nice and clear. I'm not at home right now doing this mobile thing from a small attic in Oakland. So it's just kind of like a miracle of modern technology that I can even do this thing right here. Kind of switching scenes. Uh, but, anyways, I forgot the whole intro. What's going on? My name's PT Burnem. This is a ZnZerna music hour. It's going to be 2 hours, and we're going to be doing some mobile music talking about, and some talking about ZnZerna in general and what it means to be dusty. I can't even turn off this dust. Okay, I got this. Hey, Liz. It's good to see you. Glad you could make it. I'm gonna turn on these guys again. Let's see here. All right. So that should be coming in about right. Okay. So, welcome to the ZnZerna Music Hour. Barry, oh, I'm glad you did. What do you think of that ZnZerna sticker? Still got to post about the nature of the ZnZerna sticker is to be a double sticker. Not only do you have the place where you can write on the jar where, what's in the jar, but also, excellent, Liz. Thank you. You can write on the jar what's in the jar, who's in the jar, and you can also use it as a single sticker with ZnZerna in the jar, or take ZnZerna out of the jar and pull them out. Put it wherever you'd like. So I'm really glad that people have gotten the stickers. If you haven't, sometimes the Postal Service is a little bit odd in its workings, so just let me know if you haven't gotten stickers and you're in the sticker club. If you're dusty, I'd say free the Zerna from the jar. I'm a fan of freeing the Zerna from the jar. And if you free the Zerna from the jar, what up, Gator? How's it going? If you free the Zerna from the jar, you can use the jar to be over anything that you'd like. Same way that you could use the television sticker when I sent those out. It's actually not too late to get a television sticker or a ZnZerna sticker. Just join up with the sticker club. I'm sure Barry's going to be probably quick with that link. I'm not even going to... Yes. The shirts. Excellent, cool. That I did schedule that to go through. So we know about the shirts for a minute there. The last couple of days have been a bit of a whirlwind. So we know about the shirts. The shirts are going to be really exciting. If you haven't seen them yet, for members of the Patreon, the Dusty ones, everyone that's a part of that can see the early link to the shirts. They'll be dropping for everyone else maybe a little bit later this week, but I wanted my royalty to have first access. So if you are one of the Dusty Cats and you haven't seen the shirts yet, you should go check them out because they're really looking good for this season. Got some music for you. It's been a little bit... I've been doing a lot of music, but I've been mostly working on small musical experiments because I'm here at my friend's house, Isaac from drums, who you may know. He's an incredible host and also is an avid gear collector and user. So I've got access to a bunch of stuff, which I might share next week. I'm still working with a bunch of it and doing some fun experiments, hanging out with the cat Bowie, and generally having a good time out here in California. So, Pete's Coffee, this is like just happened to be the cup that I'm using, but they are excellent. Really got their act together. They remind me of they remind me a little bit of the anarchist bookstore in Baltimore, where it's very worker-centric and justice-centric. You also, absolutely. Barry, thank you. You can get access to the season 1.2 shirts, which include ZnZerna. Is going to be an exclusive. ZnZerna is not going to be available to the general public at all in that form for this season at all. It's only going to be Spicy Cat and the ZnZerna current sort of mascot guy that I got going. Still very excellent shirts, but ZnZerna is one of my very, very favorites. So, yeah, just been kind of living it up out here in San Francisco for a brief minute, mostly just hanging around the house and doing musical experiments and stuff like that. But those things may get seen later on in the show. Tonight I just kind of wanted to try out the mobile rig. Let's see what we got. I think we can get West Coast vibing exactly. So I do have alternate cameras with me though, so we are going to be able to see what I'm using. As usual, I got Mononoke in the mix, but I'm not going to have it in the mix for very long. We're going to get started on some other stuff. But I'm going to start up some drums on this Z in a minute. I'm glad that we've got that. Let's see if we can get the dual going. Very nice. Okay. Cool. This looks good. This looks good. And if you're ever out west, and you're in the city of San Francisco, you should try Pete's Coffee. Go in there. It's a good vibe. It's not gold. It's stone. And it's not really a paperweight. So, I mean, it can be used as such, but it's sort of my, like, carry around object. Got it in a little stone bead tarot shop in Durham. It's nice though. It reminds me to marinate on things like death and putrescence, which is, you know, actually quite healthy for you to do that. So let's start up these drums. I made these drums earlier today. I actually made a video earlier today as well, but it didn't really turn out great. I was having trouble syncing a lot of the things, so I'm just going to show you the audio and tell you the things that I was going to tell you in the video. It seems like we've got pretty... I'm going to be able to talk for the duration of the thing. It may have to cut off, and if it does, I'll go to something else where I'm not talking, but I'm going to close this door real quick. Okay, also, so for those of you who are not familiar, sometimes I get, you know, confused as to who's familiar with what. My man Isaac, who is part of the Drones band that I had about 4 or 5 years ago now, just an incredible poet, writer, thinker. We did a lot of co-writing songs and teaching each other about lyrics and stuff. Learned a lot from him. And he goes under his own moniker by the name of Swordplay. You'll really be doing yourself a favor if you check out Swordplay's material. Specifically, Tap Water is a great album. His older stuff has a little bit of that, like, young amateur rapper feel to it, but not in the most typical ways. It's actually still the Tilt EP, even though it's got its moments of unprofessionalism, I guess you would call it, but is still quite an astounding record for being produced by a couple of people. Oh, yeah. It's even got a little bit of specific damage so that I know that it can't be recreated easily by the Inception machine. I forget, what is it in Inception? Is it a machine that's able to do that? That puts you into there? So I do want to talk to you about these drums. So I made a concerted effort this morning to build a small drum pattern that had a little bit of feel to it. And in the video that I made, I was talking about specifically how to get that kind of feel when you're programming drums. Now, the OPZ is really useful for this sort of thing. So some of this will be OPZ specific, but a lot of it is not. The main piece of advice that boils down is if you make beats and are doing sequencing and stuff like that, you should definitely, even if you're not planning on using real drums at all, get behind a kit and start trying to... Yeah. Well, I'm not sure that this thing is working then. Well, last week or so. So those are digital. But you want to get behind a drum set if you're a producer, for the simple fact that a lot of the reason that grooves feel human is because of a few natural realities of the physical human and the drum kit. For instance, you can't really have more than 4 sounds at once. You can have more than 4 sounds happening at once, but you can't make more than 4 sounds happen at once, like as a drummer, because you only have 4 limbs with which to hit things. I suppose you could put a drumstick in your teeth, but keeping it basically normal, you've got 4 sounds at any given time. And the groove is basically created by 3 elements, one of which is a sort of whole plethora of elements. But the first 2 are volume and timing. So you can have something that's perfectly on grid, and it's going to sound very robotic. And that's because if you just, say you make I'm not going to do it right now, but if you make a new sequence and you just put everything on the grid, first of all, you're going to be working with a standard volume. Those hits aren't going to change volume over the course of the pattern. And the timing is going to be rigid and on a grid. And both of those things are going to lead to it sounding very robotic. You can use a thing called swing. Most sequencers are equipped with swing. But you're better off figuring out how to create that swing yourself. Why a groove feels the way that it does. For instance, when a drummer hits multiple hi-hats at once, where before in the pattern they were only hitting 1 time on the beat, and then they go to 3. Are those hits going to be louder or softer? What's the tendency going to be physically? Not just this, but simply varying the loudness of hits with the general rule that, let's say, if you're working by 4s, the first of every 4 in the sequence could be your loudest. That's going to be the emphasis on your groove. That would be if your emphasis was on the 1. If your emphasis was on the 3, you could, out of the group of 4, the third out of every 4 would be where you'd have your loudest volume, generally speaking. You can even vary those volumes in relationship to each other, loudest, but out of 100, it's like 80, 85, and 90, maybe 100. Variation within the louder spectrum, but also wherever it's not your main focal point of the beat, whichever count you aren't emphasizing, you lower the volume of the hits there, and that is really what creates the groove. A lot of the groove is created by the dynamic hi-hat volume variation. So if you're finding that your programming in it lacks groove, you should start to try and vary the hi-hats and also nudge them around a little bit in space. The OPZ makes this really easy. You just hit the shift key. Actually, you don't have to hit the shift key. Any of these events that's happening, each one of these red dots is an event. I've got an event on every single step. Each one of these events can be physically grabbed, basically. You just push it with your finger, push it down, and then hit these buttons to nudge it around in space by just a little bit. Nudging it forward and backwards can create that kind of natural groove. Of course, it's harder to create it that way than just a groove. Ultimately, it's nice to know how to play drums, but that variation in volume, variation in spacing, slight variation in rhythm is really what the computer is using to create quote-unquote swing, which people have spent countless amount of hours in forums debating over which machine does swing the best, etc., etc. Much better just to learn and understand why things get nudged the way they do, why that hit is early. Is there a tendency to rush? Think about your drummer when you're programming. Think about your drummer as a human. Are they hitting hard with not much dynamics? Are they hitting light and getting really tinky with the hi-hats? Do they have a tendency to rush? Do they have a tendency to lay back? All of those things you can consider and reflect that in your programming to get a more groove-oriented thing going. Now, I think I'm going to bring it over to this sequence that I'm just going to evolve this drum sequence a little bit. Make it so I can mess with it all that I would like. And we're going to bring Mononoke out so that we can actually... We're not going to do that yet. The OPZ has multiple tracks that you can sequence different events with different instruments. You can use internal instruments. what I like to do is I like to those hits sort of emphasize different parts of the beat. It's very 80s sounding, actually. Not as hands-on as a modular system at all. Not as physical. But there's a lot you can do with this box. For instance, that's an 80SR envelope. In fact, let me show you this. We are going to have to take Mononoke out of the picture in order to do this. So, the OPC doesn't have a screen, and to me this is one of its great strengths. Screens are expensive and fragile. What it does have is a very speedy and reliable Bluetooth connection to any screen you have in your pocket or in your bag. It'll work with Android devices and other Apple stuff, everything. So, because you've already got that stuff in your bag, so because you've already got the screen in your bag, you can now see, let's see, oh nice. So you can actually see, the different adjustments that you can make on the screen that you have in your pocket. For instance, you hear how those are really short in length, they're truncated. You can extend that. You can watch this meter go up and down. Let's adjust the attack and you can see very easily. I love a good, sounds backwards. Things sound backwards because they have a tendency to come in with a hit and go out with a tail. And if you pull the attack forward, you're creating an artificial tail of volume. So it sounds backwards, but it's not backwards. Now I'm gonna do something that keeps the Z really interesting here. as I'm setting these things up, I'm actually going to change that. Right now that I've got the variation at random, but that wham was just too disruptive, so I changed it. Instead of random, it's just every fifth. So it sounds random-ish because we're working in fours. So every fifth rotation is going to be like on the first on one rotation, on the third on another rotation, as the rotation gets further and further off because it's doing it every fifth, and we're working in fours. That kind of odd timing and variation is something that the OPZ excels at. Now, this kind of thing works especially well when you've got a rhythmic delay placed on there as well. Because it creates a sort of phrasing that continues. Here, I'll take the delay off and you can hear how it changes. So you can hear how that works. Turning up that. If you want to get really fancy, you can play with any number of things per step. You just physically grab the step by pushing down on it and then play with it. Let's see, something that will be... we can make every third have some really high resonance. Let's do that. So that's got this big resonance pickup. That's like, whoa! And I'm doing it every third. See, everything you do as a rhythmic pattern, let's say I've got, a filter sort of push. If I do it every third note, I'm going to be emphasizing the triplet rhythm. If I did it every fourth note, I could emphasize the one. If I did it on the third of every fourth, of every four notes it's the third, then I'm emphasizing that third. Everything you do, you can consider it building into part of that groove. You want to be paying attention to the drums that you're building and letting that reflect, especially in the first, more rhythmic elements of your beat or whatever you're creating. And another strong suit of the OPZ is that you can hold this up here, the program button, and then sort of shift and change sequences on the fly, which is powerful when you're using the inner instruments, but when you're using MIDI to run some larger, more powerful instruments, it gets a level even more cool. So I guess that brings me back around to what I was doing. Going to use Mononoke a little more. Just wanted to show you a little bit about what I've been doing on the OPZ in terms of being able to work on the train and in a park and all over the place in Oakland and San Francisco. We can make that boy thing really ring out in terms of the I'm gonna send. So the effects send, you can play with the effects send per step. So when it hits these steps after the boing boing boing, it's gonna make it hit more, basically. Make more echoes. It's got limitations, you know, that big echo isn't only acting on the boing boing, it's also acting on all the other things on that track, but if you know how to massage it into place, so for me, especially when you have this line module here, the OPZ basically can take different modules in its center that can help you do things. The line module will take a signal and mix it in with the original. So that's really useful when you're working with an iPad or something like that. It runs that signal back through the Z. So what we're hearing is the iPad being run through the Z. That allows us to mess with it using this feature that the Z has called the tape track. The first thing you do when you select the tape track is, so this is the tape track, and it allows you to grab pieces. And it's constantly got a loop running in there that's listening to what's happening. And then you can grab pieces and repeat them. Everybody, you'll notice if you're a music maker and you use things like delay plugins and different digital stuff, you'll notice that they often have the delay set at 3s. Either dotted quarter notes or triplets, because it sounds cool. Always sounds cool to run a good triplet echo or dotted here. So, you can also record those glitch pieces. Now, what's also cool is you can decide which tracks will be affected by this. I'm going to take the drums out of the tape track. Now that glitchiness is interesting enough when it's running in a cycle that is parallel to everything else. But it's very easy on the OPZ simply by hitting the track button and the shift button to change the number of steps in a given pattern. This thing is running on its own sequencer, and we're going to reduce the number of steps in its pattern. Then you can also send the tape track to the delay. Get something very sparse and glitchy. Now that we've got that running, I'd like to move back over to Mononoke. I might even add the hi-hats back into the tape track. Okay. Hi Ash, I'm glad that you're out and about. I hope you're having a good time. I hope that Woogie is safe, sound, and hopefully up to some kind of mischief. It's looking fierce in that picture you sent. Yeah, hello and welcome aboard. It's getting a little weird in here. Say hi to Andy for me. Okay, so I'll show you now. The reason that it's nice to have this audio running through is that you can then send it through the tape track as well, which I'm going to do now. But I'm actually going to remove So I took these original synths back out of the tape track, and I'm putting our Mononoke signal in. And it's interesting because the rhythmic breaking is happening and it's being sent to the delay. So, let's see. Now what I've done is let a little bit of the dry signal from Mononoke in as well. So now we get a low pulse. It's always there, low way, but it gets its volume jumped up. So the tape track lets you turn that drone into a rhythmic pulsing glitch. The mix can change a lot of things. What is emphasized, what's playing the main part in the mix, can change a lot of things about the groove. Think about the mixing process of volumes, note to note, as well as element to element. you having to change the volumes of individual notes on the fly, but the OPC makes that easy because it's just like the physical act of grabbing by pressing. Another thing that's easy on the OPC is saying, hey, those little oops, I want them up an octave. If you wanted to, you could copy this sequence. Make one of them an octave down. And then you can switch between them. Now, in addition, not just making those higher, let's just make those also truncate them, shorten them. Now we can switch between those two. The ability to switch between presets on the fly is not a new thing. But having access to being able to do a lot of that at once, changing multiple presets on the fly, is relative. I'm going to take the tape track off of this original one. Okay, now we're at about 50 minutes and I'd like to switch gears a little bit. Not a lot, but we are going to take Mononoke out of the picture and get rid of these little bleep loops. So to do that, we're going to I've got the piano, but it might be this one here, just to make sure that we've still got the MIDI hooked up. Cool. So let's bring these guys out. Get that E really chill. For those of you just joining us, this is the ZnZerna Music Hour. My name's PT Burnem, and today we're making a little beat. Something that I was working on earlier walking around. I feel like the OPZ is pretty powerful on its own. But when you pair it with the iPad and its Bluetooth capabilities, it's really where it shines. Because you've already got all that power on you. those synthesizers and the screen and everything. And the OPZ just gives you creative access to it in a way that's more hands-on than the touchable but not really tactile iPad screen. A small bass line that I cooked up. Bass lines are probably my weakest point, I think. I often like to drone my basses. I was really killing it with Eric Akers playing the bass, handling those duties. Oh, that was an excellent part. So now that I'm here, I should be able to get that out. And I have something, so the built-in synths on the OPZ are really fantastic for what they are. Not the most tweakable, but a lot of tweakable parameters, and the key is to really get those step parameters in. But if you're looking for something more full and beautiful from the jump, you can always pair it up with any number of iPad synths. I really love the Animoog. Because it not only allows you to play some keys, this touch interface here does some really dramatic changes which are fully customizable. That grid can be customized. And I've got some MIDI notes already programmed, which I'm gonna open up now. I think we are definitely might need to revisit this MIDI. Ah, yes. Here we go. Hopefully that does it. Might have to restart restart Animoog. Let's see. I think we got this. Yeah. And I did want to play with the. Let's see if we can. That just sounds better, you know. Like the Animoog is a synth from the ground up. That's what it's got going for it. And it sounds really good. It's polyphonic. like that. I know. I think I should be messing with the attack. Get a lot of easy to mess with variation. I'm going to set this up real quick. Aha. So now we can have it running in the background. Speaking of backgrounds, that background is going to be available to y'all very soon. I've been playing with scale a little bit. ZnZerna's way up front now. That. Very 80s feel vibe to it. You gotta be careful when you're working with synths because the 80s being the birthplace of synths, a lot of stuff happened then. And some of the stuff that you're doing now might sound like it. And you have to be aware that you're referencing something that you're bringing to mind. Maybe a time or a place, or these things have previous aesthetic attachments with them. That's why it pays to be educated in terms of music history and music currency, so that you know kind of where what you're doing falls in the context of the broader musical scheme. I do like the way that bass lines up. The key of one of the keys of the bass is to be melodic melodically relevant and rhythmically relevant. Tie and knit the two together. So, let's take a look at some of this. This is the main decal for the... Y'all just got this sticker, but this is now going to be on a shirt. And kind of... So that's the ZnZerna. That's not going to be available to the general public. Spicy Cat will, though. And you might be familiar with Spicy Cat. Had him up on the animations a couple times. And just a really colorful, and it's kind of the, when a cat goes from like, oh, pet me, to like, Spicy Cat. So that's going to be up on a lot of different fabrics. Actually, that's one of the cool things about this particular t-shirt style. So last time it was a hoodie. You could basically just get the hoodie. With this new drop, I've got stuff on comfort tees, standard tees, tank tops. The Spicy Cat comes on a tank top, very nice. And some other variations on fabric, fit, and shape. So I would highly encourage you to check it out. And the other design variant is this. Oh, you gotta take that green out of there. This is our sort of standard ZnZerna beat. Got the Z's, but the cats aren't sleeping necessarily. One of the keys to understanding the ZnZerna symbology is the closed eyes of the cat. I don't know if you're familiar with cats, and one of the ways that they show like safety or like they feel safe, trust, is to close their eyes. Like actually, you're looking at a cat and you want to take trust the situation of the cat. You close your eyes slowly, and if you open your eyes after that, you'll see the cat. Probably do it too. It's also a copacetic situation for them. It's like I don't have to be fully on alert and aware. So I love the closed eyes cat, and I think this is going to be an excellent shirt for springtime. I'm going to be ordering a couple myself. See if there's anything else. Oh, we want a preview of something that's going to be coming, a limited edition shirt that has a very special purpose. Talking about this thing. One of the earliest supporters and just incredible teachers of my existence and being recently got out of jail, and makes me really happy to know free. And so they've got a project that they're going to be doing, which is sort of guide, not like an actual guide, but the talks and philosophy that will be being put forth will revolve personally, I think that this has broader applications because so much of our daily life, our agencies, there are powers that would like to see you have less agency. Claiming your own agency can be tricky and can be tough. And my man Pepe has always been a huge inspiration for how to continue and expand one's agency through knowledge and through action. So he's going to be focusing that on the prison system, giving talks to incarcerated people, and I just couldn't be prouder of my man. So this is going to be dropping not next week, but probably the week after. And I'm just so pleased. So let's use the tape track now to play around with a little bit of this sound that's coming through. I'm lucky to have some transformational people in my life. It could have gone very, very wrong to be a boy. Now we've got that one rolling in the tape track. I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to put those chords into the tape track. 1st of April, when you sign up for any of the tiers on the Patreon, you're going to get a couple stickers. My Dusty Cats are going to get all the stickers. And I want to say thank you for being Dusty. So, to be Dusty, it's just kind of like being like all in. Not just all in the dust. Because the dust is not necessarily a place where like you wanna be. You know, like you go through the dust. But it's where you are. To get dusty, it's not just to get dusty. You gotta go in with a positive. My man Sean really showed me that. That, you know, helps the whole team thrive when you keep a positive mental attitude about things. Even and especially when things are terrible, dire, or extraordinarily dusty. You know, when at the end of the day you knew who was spending a lot of time in the room because they're caked up with a lot of dust. There's a lot of pictures of me caked up with a lot of dust. With the right attitude, you can even learn to enjoy it. It's an amazing thing. So to be dusty is to not just be in the shit, but to maintain a positive attitude. Where can I help? Alright. And the last bit of coffee. Drink drinks, y'all. Shout outs to Cold Rhymes Records. Dan Keach, Pike Keach. All praise. He's got a new record out called Make Your Own Light. And if you don't like the sound of that, I don't know what to tell you. Mind Moves the Mountain. Check that one out. Chock full of good stuff. Alright, I'm going to wind this one down. And for the last part of the show, I think I'm going to introduce you to one of my favorite drones off of the upcoming ZnZerna. ZnZerna to all y'all. Another interesting thing that I won't get too much into with the tape track is the ability that it has to speed up and slow down. I'm gonna Now that's very strange, isn't it? Break it. Because now the tape player is sort of feeding back on itself, because it's taking a tape recording of everything that's happening, and it's happening, so it's recording itself onto its own tape and then further chunking and chopping it up on its next pass. And then now's the perfect time to bring Mononoke back into the mix. All messed up. That sounds a little bit like old modem sounds. Crittens! Nice. See those spinning guys? And that's it. We'll leave it there. So, the ZnZerna is a sort of darker inside. Take it easy, Barry. We're going to introduce you to a more meditative aspect of the ZnZerna. Something that I call the House of Cups. Let's see if I've got it. I got it. In fact, it's strange. It's weird. I chose 95 at the beginning of today, but I forgot that House of Cups is actually 95 BPM. So now that I've got this inner boy muted, I'm going to see if I could bring you... Hey, West Virginia! Hi! You aren't by any chance with Chris, are you? You aren't by any chance looking at the purple fiddle? Hey! Rin, it's good to see you. Let me see here. I think I'm going to be able to do this with very little problem. Let's see. I'm going to come down to the Purple Fiddle in West Virginia. That's definitely going to be a place I'm coming. Oh, we're going to let this run. Nice. Well, have fun with your cousin, and stay safe out there in West Virginia. I know there's a lot of wildlife. Not so much here in Oakland. Is it an outdoors trip, kind of camping? So right now I'm just running that drone from here. Woo! Woogie is outdoors. So, little music for Woogie. Go with that pure House of Cups deal right now. Try taking the tuning of that little glitch up. like that. I am going to mute them again. These. Just appreciate that for a minute. In fact, the nature of the House of Cups makes me want to go right into the breather. I'm going to take a minute. I will get. So, House of Cups was constructed with a couple of different synth sounds that sound like water, not the sound of water actually. And then that hum is my voice taken down some octaves and played at different timbres. Actually, I wanted to talk to you about timbre a little bit because that is the third aspect of dynamics, which I was talking about earlier. There's volume, there's timing, and then there's timbre. When something gets louder, it doesn't usually just get higher in volume. Let's check this out. So when I hit it softly, versus when I hit it hard, it's not just louder. In fact, it's not that much louder. What it is higher pitched. There's more of that high end to the strike. That dynamic, natural physical dynamics is what gives drum beats their groove, part of it. And timbre is something infinitely variable and very much up to taste, but knowing that it is an aspect of loudness that is often not considered. Things aren't just louder, they've got a dynamic shift to their timbre as they get louder. Taking that into consideration will probably help. If you're writing drums. I also just like clicky, weird spider drums, like this. Yeah, let's see here. All right, let's do a little kick action. Well, let's not do that yet. One more time. Do that. Actually, yeah, one more time. Oh, definite insect vibes. Spider drums are a definite thing. All right, we're really gonna end out the show soon. 13 minutes. So you know what? Instead of running that House of Cups drone again, different drone now. I want to talk about insect vibes. Speaking of the drone, if you look up capital drones with spaces between all the letters and look up Richmond, RDA, maybe throw in the word music there too. Or you can go to Bandcamp. And that's the real drone, which I worked on with Isaac, and the reason I have the X47 on my finger. That's actually those are actually cicadas that I recorded with my field recorder and run through some modular stuff. It's going to be a song about emerging from the darkness to sing at each other. See what unmuting that tape track does. Well, actually, wait. I like that. All right, with that running, let's go with the bankings, because it's y'all on the Patreon that are making this possible and logical and all the things that art doesn't naturally come with necessarily. So, for all my digicats signed up and getting me music every week, huge thing. And we've got some screens for our ZnZerna cat. So we're gonna say huge thanks. Ashley, I hope that you and Woody are having a lovely evening out east. Kenny Creech, if you're watching, when you're watching, what's up? Erica, always. Excellent. I will be talking to you later this week. Rin, I hope that everything goes well in West Virginia and you'll have an excellent time. Really appreciate it. We got one more drum. I've been listening a lot to you, Z9Zerna. Woo! Becca, as always, thank you. Sam, out in Nashville, what's good? Robbie Stout, you gotta get at me about the studio. I gotta know how things are going to split up. Awesome. I hope that you are still humbling those fools at the factory. Viz, looking forward to getting a package from you, so I can't wait to get home in that particular way. Jen, we are definitely linking up when I get back and talking about art and kids and volunteering and all that stuff. Boil it out with Eric Akers. Can't wait to get down with you again. I'll be passing through Richmond soon. Quinn, up north. I know things are getting warm. Not warm enough for my taste up near Maine. I appreciate all y'all getting dusty. Dusty cat. What's up? A couple of supporters I'd like to make special mention. Dogfuck. A hard name, but it's all on purpose. I love dog. Barry, thanks, friend. Barry, as always, incredible material support, and thank you to all of you for not just the material support, but for the kinds of thoughts and feelings that arise when you are doing this for a purpose and there's some support there. It really feels good, basically every single day. So, thanks a lot for supporting this and making it possible. My name is P.T. Burnem, and we're going to roll out like this. Thank you to everybody who's supporting. Thank you to everyone who's watching. Listening to these bug sounds. Going to be working on some more lyrics. Maybe next week. Next week is up in the air. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the show, but I think I am. I got to get some stuff pre-recorded because we're going to be out in the redwoods, me and my man. So, yeah. I'll let you guys know what's happening. If you don't hear anything, it means it's on like normal. See you in a week. And until then, take care, and I hope you have a good time. Make a lot of good music. Sing and dance. And all that. until then, take care. This is PT Burnem signing off. This is ZnZerna Music.